everybody, and welcome to Kickstarter update number 6 already. We're slowly cruising towards our next stretch goal, which is the Pick Your Own Skill tier part 2, in which you are all going to vote for the polymorph skills in case you didn't do that for part 1. Now, as we're going there, we're starting to realize that we might actually have to add a few extra stretch goals to this Kickstarter campaign, which is obviously fantastic news. And we're going to do that. We're going to do it in one of the next updates, so stay tuned for that. Now, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the level design process for Divinity Original Sin 2, because it's something where we have quite a lot of ambitions. And with me here is Joachim, who is one of our two art directors. Hello. The other one is Koen over there, who is hiding himself, busy with very dark stuff. And Joachim, why don't you tell us a little bit about what are we trying to do, where is the inspiration coming from to start with?
Yeah, so a lot of inspiration for the level design comes from our own surroundings.
Yeah.
We're looking at the medieval Flanders, and we find a lot of inspiration in that.
Okay, and like this house, where does that come from, for instance?
Yeah, for example, this house we took reference from Bokrijk, which is somewhere in Flanders.
It's like a lot of medieval houses over there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that.
Do you have other examples?
Another example would be the beach level we have somewhere in here. I'll go to that.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually a kind of a special place for me, because it is based on the place where I grew up, a place called De Panne, and it really looks like it.
Yeah, so we've got this swamp.
Is that a crocodile?
Going on. Yeah, it's
cool.
It's a crocodile.
I don't have crocodiles in De Panne though, but we do have those dunes.
Yeah, the thing is, we start off with real kind of medieval landscapes, and we add a layer of fantasy on top of that, so we can do whatever we want, but we have a starting point somewhere.
Yeah, it looks very recognizable, which is also important for us, because in the beginning of the game you want things to be recognizable.
Yeah, we always start from a pretty common surrounding, like a typical medieval environment that we put a layer on top of it.
Yeah.
And then after we gradually go into more kind of fantasy environment.
Yeah, like in Original Sin 2 you start in human territory and then you head over to the ancient empire, which is where the lizards live.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. That's also very, looks very recognizable. I lived in a place, near a place called Veurne, and if I go inside there, or Bruges, where I was born actually, there's places like that over there.
Yeah, so these are the typical like early Renaissance Flanders kind of environments. Yeah. We use there's a lot of reference coming from this, from Bruges.
And like this here, like the paintings, are these like, where do they come from? Is that just painted? Is it somebody here in the office? Or?
Yeah, we just use a lot of concept artists to work on these kind of things. All the details need to be correct.
So these are all hand-drawn, right?
Everything's hand-drawn.
The clothing that the characters are wearing, because that's also Renaissance-inspired?
Everything has a starting point to guide the concept artists to what it needs to be. And in this case, it needs to look like humans are more like Renaissance. We have different types of humans, like rich, poor, common, merchants. We've got everything to populate the world with, like this.
Okay, well, they're indeed very detailed. And this, because we obviously have also other races than humans, so we also have like dwarves and lizards and elves, and now obviously also the undead. Can you show us a little bit of one of the other races?
So, for example, the dwarves.
You got some lizards there. I think that
they've
been fighting. I think. No, they've been fighting.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood around it. Well, yeah, this is still a work in progress, obviously. Oh yeah, can I see those windmills? I see windmills over there. So because that's also they're cool actually. So because we're the dunes where I was born, they're actually like polders, I think they're called in English, and the area was won from the sea, and so we have that theme going on here also in DOS 2, in the starting area.
Yeah, so we have the dam, and you can see all the river, the water flowing through. It's still work in progress, but
yeah, but it's looking sweet. Okay, so do we find out who's over there?
Yeah. We built a lot of characters. There's a lot of assets being created.
Yeah.
Like this, for example, are the Black Ring faction. Start of it. It's just the starting. There will be more of them, of course, but these are the ones we have for now. We also have the dwarves.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And they're also Renaissance inspired?
So for the dwarves, because they're like imperialists, it's Renaissance, but it's mixed with a Roman kind of influence. So everything is a bit Romanish and Renaissance combined. We're always looking for a nice combination of cultures to give a cultural identity to all the races, to make it all fit.
Yeah. That remains recognizable actually also for people. So you do have a natural affinity for those characters when you encounter them in the game. Okay. So you must have been making a lot of assets because the level ambitions are quite big.
Yeah, so we have the team must grow larger, so it's harder to keep track of everything. So we are having a lot of these asset lists to keep everyone busy, and there's a lot of assets coming in. And we try to put that all in the editor, and that means that we're gonna have like a really epic amount of races, because every race needs their own architectural stuff, their own weapons, their own armors, their own environments, rocks,
There's
everything.
There's animation sets also for each of the typical the equipments that they have. Can you tell me a little bit about the level design process that you're using?
So what we try to do with the level design, what we also did in Original Sin 1, is that we want to give the player the freedom to explore the world in all directions. We don't really want to put the player in some kind of canyon, linear canyon. Player should be able to go all direction he wants. He's never blocked by anything. He can just travel the world like he wants to. Of course, he will be blocked by encounters or monsters or ambushes, but in general, the player can control everything. There's never any dead ends in the game.
You have this thing called loopy design, where you have like circles going into circles into circles.
Players can always keep going; they're never stuck. Even if you go this way and this way, there's always a path out of.
And this is actually quite misleading, because you're seeing it from the editor now, so the distances are different than when you're actually playing. This is already quite a lot of surface what you're seeing here when you're walking around in it.
It's kilometers
of distance. The fun fact here is that the reason why we tend to over or underestimate the amount of content that we have is actually because we keep on looking at it in the editor, but then when we finally walk into it, you say, Jesus Christ, it's so big, and then we have to add more and more stuff, which makes obviously for quite a dense game. All right, super, thank you very much. That's it for today. We will be back shortly, I hope, in which we're going to announce that finally the polymorph skill tier has made it to Divinity Original Sin 2. Stay tuned, tomorrow we have a devline. The times are listed on the page, and so we'll be playing the game online, show you some things which haven't been shown before, talk about some features, answer your questions, and hopefully we'll all have a fun time, so I look forward to that. And then we've also added add-ons to the campaign. That was something that you've been requesting en masse, so they're finally there. We need to get some logistical issues sorted out, but they're sorted out now. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for all of your pledges, and stay tuned and see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.